So as you can see, we're back at the property, and our main goal over the next week is to clear a lot of these trees for our vegetable garden. Then I'm going to get Jonah back up here and do some work of grubbing, taking off the top of the soil, all the weeds, grass, all the little roots, dig down into it to break the roots, because then I got to use the tiller and actually work this ground. And this is going to be an amazing project. We're going to have a lot of vegetables. Hopefully they will grow. We're going to put in a lot. So let's get at it. So I grew up in a community of about 150, maybe 175 people. Now we had a major forest fire back in the mid 80s, and it almost seemed like it lasted for 6 weeks, and I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. Anyone that know more information can remember the information. I know Land and Sea did a story on the forest fire out home when it was happening, and we had to evacuate. I remember evacuating at least 3 times from the community because of the forest fire. I remember the fire truck was stationed next to the United Church, and it was all ready to go in case the fire got too close to the church. They would try to save it, and there's someone had to be in the fire truck 24/7. So I remember all those little details, and it was quite some time ago. But one thing that the forest fire left behind was a forest full of burnt trees and burnt logs. Now Dad took that opportunity. He actually cut enough logs to be able to build a cabin. Now this was a log cabin that he built out of green logs, and he used the wood from the burnt logs, the lumber, to do the floor, the walls, and the roof. Now he made a deal with the sawmill owner. He asked the sawmill owner, would you like to go halves on the lumber? And what that means is load the logs, they saw it up, they take half the lumber and don't charge you for sawing. So that's pretty good. But the owner was like, this is not going to make good lumber. Dad said, oh yeah, it's going to make great lumber. After a few hours of sawing, called Dad that evening. He said, we have a deal. Amazing lumber, unbelievable. The wood is completely dried out. There is no moisture left in it. So when it came to the firewood, Dad loved it because, normally when it comes to your spruce and other species of wood, very heavy, full of moisture, you cut it in 8 foots, you put it on your sled, because we only cut firewood in the winter where we can get access to deep back into the good wood back in the forest using snowmobile. Easier to bring out. You use bunk sleds, tow the bunk sleds behind your snowmobile, bring out your wood. So normally you have to cut it up in 8-foot lengths, because it's so heavy, don't want to drag in behind. With these burnt trees, 12-footers is easy, and it was so much lighter, so much easier to handle. Just throw it on the bunk sled. There's no branches really to worry about, just at the end. You get a few sharp ones there at the end of the tree, but it was perfect. It was perfect for burning. You didn't have to season it. So what we call seasoned firewood. If you're going to buy some firewood, usually they would advertise and say it's seasoned firewood. And if they don't, that's the first question you ask, is it seasoned? So that's firewood that's cut this year, left for next spring, and it's seasoned, it's dried out. So normally you would junk it up, stack it, let the air get at it, let it dry out. But the burnt trees already dried out. Amazing. Perfect for firewood. Less work. You can bring it right out, junk it up, and burn it the same day. And that's what we enjoyed about the burnt trees left behind by that massive forest fire. Dad loved it. Dad wanted to get in there every day. If he wasn't working, Dad was in the woods. He was in before, he'd get up when it's still dark. He'd be on the go. I think he used to leave the house when it was dark and get in there when it was daylight. I mean, Dad loves the outdoors. And when it comes to using the chainsaw, I gotta mark most of the trees here, or he's gonna take down every tree on this block. And I don't wanna take down the trees yet until I know what I'm gonna do with each section. So like down by the camper, this is where my house is gonna go, down here. I want it up in the upper part where it's higher, but due to my plans, I'm gonna have to go down lower. And I'm gonna bring this property up 3 or 4 feet. That's gonna be a project for the fall. So keep watching. We're definitely gonna do a video on that. And that's where my house is gonna go. So we still got a massive amount of trees right back here that gotta come out hopefully in the next week or so. And hopefully I can start building my home come this spring. So there's a few reasons why a chain would actually come off the bar or pop off the bar, and it's a chainsaw bar. Well, when you're cutting a lot of twigs, a lot of dry sticks, a lot of times that can pop off the chain due to the chain getting hot over time. So if we're sawing down a lot of trees, working the chainsaw a lot of times, that chain is going to expand because it's going to heat up, metal expands, and it doesn't take much come off the edge, the end of the bar, slide off.
So as you can see, Dad is taking off the chain cover and he's going to fix the chain. He's going to put it back on track again. Sometimes it can be a little tricky, sometimes very simple. The Husqvarnas used to have 2 bolts. It seemed like it worked a lot better than the single bolt. Sometimes the engineering, the new engineering, isn't because it's a better product, sometimes it's for cheaper manufacturing, but who's to say? I'm no expert. And another reason why a chain would pop off:
wear and tear. Of course, if it's an older chain, used a lot, sharpened a lot, and you're always steady sharpening the chain, especially if you hit the ground, you hit a rock. I mean, when you're limbing up a tree when it's already down, a lot of times it's easy to hit the soil. But a lot of times, wear and tear on the chain, older chain, been used a lot, it do stretch. Metal do stretch a little, and it doesn't take much to pop over the end of the bar. Another simple reason, that nut that's on the outside case, well, if that nut is a little loose, slide your bar back a bit. You can throw it off just enough where that chain's gonna pop off.
Something very important that you see Dad doing right here. And some might think it's not much, but what he's doing, he's clearing up the area around this big tree, around the base of the tree, just in case something happens. You don't want to trip over any stumps or any other twigs, low-lying branches, or even little tiny saplings. You want the entire area around that tree cleared out, so in case the tree spins back, falls back, goes in a different direction, whatever the case might be, you want to be able to move quickly. And having too much underbrush, you're not going to be able to get out of there safely. Eventually, you're going to make a mistake and get hurt. So it's very important to have the underbrush cleared out. And right now he's cutting a V into the tree in the direction that he wanted to fall. Now with a birch can twist back around. Birch is something that is a tree with a mind of its own. And if you're cutting a big tree like this, especially a birch, it'd be great if you had a second person just to help out, to give it that push that it needs, to help it go in the right direction. So that's my job. And once Dad is ready, he'll just give me the signal to step up and give that tree a little push. But you keep your pressure on it, but you want to make sure that you got a way to get out of there fast, just in case that tree bounces back. It's happened a lot to a lot of people. Get very careful when you're cutting down trees. And there it goes, in the perfect direction. So not only do we have to cut down and clear these trees, we got to clear up the area. We got to clean up this area, take all the debris, all the branches, all the chunks of wood, all the logs. We got to put it to one side, because we're having this area not only cleared of trees, but all the sod is going to be removed, leveled off, and it's going to be for our planting vegetables. So let's get this place cleaned up before Jonah arrives.
So Jonah is on his way. He should be here any moment, and we're going to get him to actually clear off the top. Grub it off, as they say, grub it off. So he's going to clear off the top, get all the weeds, basically the sod. Remove the sod from the surface. And this soil is very fertile. It is in the country where all the farming happens, and this soil should produce an amazing crop.
So this is the area that we need, as they say, grubbed off. It's pretty big when it comes to a vegetable garden. It's going to be lots of rows, lots of drills. But it's my first time planting basically in the ground. I had a couple raised beds. Our harvest was okay. It wasn't anything that we were going to set up a stand on the side of the road and sell vegetables, but we got a few good meals out of it. They were good potatoes. So I'm very curious to see how my harvest will go this year. This is extremely fertile ground. This is the country where all the vegetables are grown, and lots of other farms, lots of cattle. So this area right here was actually used one time as a vegetable garden. The rows are still there underneath the sod. So Jonah's going to grub it off, he's going to level it up, but most importantly, he's going to break some of those roots, because you can see all those trees. New trees, new sprouts coming up, roots everywhere. So it'll make it a lot easier when I use the tiller. A lot less labor intensive, I guess. And look how nice this soil is. It's it pretty much cakes onto your boots. Your boots are, as we say in Newfoundland, not fit after you walk through this on a muddy day. It cakes on pretty thick, and there's worms everywhere. If you see worms in the soil as much as we've been seeing today, you know you got great soil. The thing is, I really don't know what soil it needs for what vegetables, and that's going to be the thing that we're going to learn throughout this season. What works best with what. And I'll probably have a couple lives and do a few other videos asking for your help. And I know there's a lot of my viewers out there that grow their own vegetables. I know some that were previous farmers. And I know a lot of things you're going to see in my videos throughout the season you're probably going to laugh at. But if you want to give comments, I do greatly appreciate it. We read all the comments, even if we don't reply, we read every one of them. And your help will be greatly appreciated, because we want enough vegetables to do us for the full year. That's why I'm planting it in the ground and not using raised beds, not using containers, doing it the old-fashioned way, where you gotta get down on your hands and knees and do some weeding. That I'm not looking forward to, but it's all part of the process. At the end of the season, when you can get a good harvest, I'm sure it's well worth it. I haven't had a real good harvest yet to be able to say it's been worth it. my carrots were baby carrots. Actually, it's the baby carrots off the baby carrots. So I never got very many, well, I never got any edible carrots, really. I believe in November we picked a couple that was still left there that we're able to eat. Not boil. If we boil, there probably wouldn't be anything left. And our turnips grew in November, most of the season. It didn't. Last year was a hot day, hot summer, and I don't think they got enough water. So this year, well, the only way to really improve is to start. It's just to get the seeds in the ground. And then from there, learn from your mistakes. But ask a lot of questions. And I mean, if I'm able to show you something, it's a lot easier for you to be able to tell me what went wrong, what I need to improve on, what I need to do next year to get a better harvest. And that's what it's all about. Just starting. Get your seeds in the ground. We'll go from there. Hopefully it won't be a waste. I got a lot of different potato seeds, different varieties. Very curious to how it's all going to grow. I mean, on the surface, everything might look great. But beneath the ground, well, that's usually always a different story. Sometimes you can't tell until it's ready to harvest. But we're going to learn a lot this year. This year is our beginning. And every story and every journey has to start somewhere. And well, we're definitely going to start somewhere. But look at the job he's doing. Incredible. That skid steer, they call it a skid steer, can do marvelous work. He got an excavator as well. He's going to bring that one, but he asked me a few questions about the land. He decided to take the skid steer. And I'm glad he did, because he done a magnificent job. But look here. Look what we came across. And he's going to try to get it out. If he had the excavator, this would not even be an issue. He would use the bucket and get that out right away and be able to move it, get it off the vegetable garden. And that's another thing. Is he going to be able to move it off where my vegetables are growing, or do I have to plant around it? He's going to give this a real good try. I got a lot of faith that he's going to be able to get it out. He really knows how to use a skid steer. And I think that's so important. Yeah, that's a big rock. I would not be able to get that out with a pry bar and a shovel. So it's a good thing that Jonah came up, did the work that needed to be done. Did a fantastic job. The hard, intensive labor is going to start with that tiller, because this is a ground that's going to have to be tilled several times. I'm going to have to keep going over it. Get as many roots out as I can. Shouldn't be many rocks because it's been used before for a vegetable garden. So it's getting the roots out. And each year will get better and better. Adding fertilizer, adding some compost. Get the nutrients back in the soil, although according to the worms, it's good soil. See, I had faith in Jonah. I knew he was going to get that rock up. Actually, no. I didn't think he was going to get it up because I thought that rock was going to be a lot bigger and embedded a lot deeper. Because this was a vegetable garden in the past, I figured they probably had a tractor up here to remove all the big rocks, because there's no other signs of big rocks. And when he came across this one, I figured, well, they couldn't get it up. But I'm amazed he worked at it. But it's not always the equipment, it's the operator. He's been at it for quite some time, and he knows exactly what he's doing. You can see by how he's been operating this entire video. I mean, he knows exactly how to operate a skid steer. You want to see it on his excavator. And now, if you're wondering what he's doing, and you're probably thinking, he's creating more work. He's digging it up, digging it up, digging it up, and now you got to till it. Not only all these mounds is going to be in the way, but it actually, he's breaking the roots. And some of these roots are fairly big. They're from the bigger trees off to the side that moving across and sprouting up, especially those apps trees. So a lot of these roots are fairly thick. So by Jonah doing this, he's breaking those surface roots, which is going to really help and be less intensive, less labor intensive for me with the tiller, the shovel, and everything else. So I wanted Jonah to do a little bit more work out in front, around where the camper is. Even though this is going to be all filled in with 3 or 4 feet of dirt in the fall, I might want to plant something down there. And if I don't, I still want to be able to get the vehicles back here, so I want to level it off. So if I wanted to get the truck back the fall, or any time during the summer, I can always drive it back without any trouble. Plus, that's where I had my bonfire last year. Jonah's going to take care of that as well. He's going to put all that over in the pile. All that soot and ashes is great for compost, especially the one that we're creating. This concrete slab, probably not, but it's going to level everything up for me. Make things a lot easier throughout the season. Get all those sticks all up in the pile. And that pile that he's creating over there, we're going to put some lumber tarps. Lumber tarps is free. They're at the lumber mill, or at the lumber yard. And it's what the lumber is packed in to keep it dry as it's being transported to the stores, to the warehouses. So we take those lumber tarps, we use it for covering up wood, or firewood. In this case, it's going to be used to cover up that pile to help it break down, keep the sun out of it, so all those weeds don't start growing, the grass don't start growing in it, keep it without the sun. So in 2 to 3 years, that's going to be perfect soil for the vegetable garden or even for flower beds. But most importantly, it should be great for digging for worms. And Jonah's off, and I truly appreciate Jonah making the time to come up and do this job for me. We're really looking forward to planting some vegetables, and thanks to Jonah, it's going to make our job a lot easier and a lot faster.
So as you can see behind me, amazing job that Jonah did, absolutely incredible. So our next goal, our next project, is actually get up here with the tiller and start taking up the roots, any little rocks, get that all out of the ground, and hopefully in the next week we can get up here and start planting our vegetables. We're a little later than what we should be, but we're still within that good time frame of getting our vegetables, our seeds in the ground. And it's going to be a great experience to see how much our vegetables actually grow. I'm very curious about the carrots and the turnip and the cabbage and the beets. We want a lot of beets to be able to bottle them up this fall. So stay tuned, keep watching, because the fall we're going to take these vegetables out of the garden, out of the ground, and hopefully we'll have a great harvest. And if you enjoyed this video, just watch this one right over here, and we'll see you in the next video.